Alright, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's go over these armies who are quite evenly matched in terms of numbers, and also in terms of the generals leading them. Both of these guys, excellent players, can't emphasize that enough, so definitely pay attention if you want to see some high-level play. Going to have 2 spearmen here for Felkon. We're also going to be seeing another 3 units of spearmen, bringing it to a total of 5. We're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 swordsmen, including the Sigmar Sons, and then we're going to have a single unit of flagellants. We are going to be over here looking at 1, 2 Empire Knights, and then we're going to be looking at quite a lot of Outriders. It looks like we're actually going to have 4 units of Outriders total. Now, we have already covered the Empire Knights, but for the leadership, we do have an Amber Wizard here on foot. He's going to be bringing his staff with a big old foot on it. Talon, I should say. We're going to see at the Manticore Summon and Flock of Doom. And then, last but never least, we do have Volkmar the Grim leading the army into battle. He's going to have the Jade Griffin, Banishment, Grand Hammer of Sigmar, Grand Shield of Faith, and Grand Soulfire. Lastly, unit I forgot, we do see a single Great Cannon here for that long range pressure. Now over here to the Lizardmen, being led by VM Evenstar. We're going to have 1, 2, 3 units of Saurus Warriors with shields. Got 2 Chameleon Skinks up front. We have 2 Skink Cohort with javelins, 1 without, and a 3rd Skink Cohort with javelin on that left flank. Got the cohort of Sotek Unbreakable ROR Red Crested Skinks in the back line, along with quite a lot of Cold One Riders. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 units of Cold One Riders. Other than that, we're going to have a Feral Bastiladon. What looks like a Bastiladon with a solar engine. We have a Skink Priest of Heavens with Wind Blast, Accursed Midnight Wind. And then we also have Tic-Tac-Toe up in the air. Oh, gotta love Tic-Tac-Toe. Bringing Deadly Onslaught along with Master of Disguise and the Drop Sphere of Tupac. Outriders are pushing forward. Alright, Felkon starting out with a quick volley against these Skink Cohort, and now sending out swords to intercept. Wind Blast coming down here, taking off about half health from those swordsmen. Over here, Volkmar the Grim coming out, doesn't seem too concerned about taking a bunch of blow darts to the face and skink javelins. Over here on the Empire right flank, the Lizardmen left, we're going to see Cold One Riders and Saurus Warriors making pretty hard push in here. Looks like VM Evenstar is going to nicely micro them out of here so they don't get all bunched up. You never want that to happen, especially against the likes of a player like Felkon, who will no doubt punish it significantly. Over here, we do have Tic-Tac-Toe attacking the Amber Wizard. Amber Wizard just summoned a Manticore, though. And looks like Tic-Tac-Toe could be in a lot of trouble here if he doesn't get off the ground, because he's about to get shot point blank by 4 Outriders. Oh, there he goes, getting up into the air now. And it looks like he's going to live to fight another day. And ooh, nice dodge there on the takeoff. But Tic-Tac-Toe needs to get a hell out of range. And they do have Firewall moving, but Solar Engine starting to make them think twice about what they're doing. And it's starting to look like maybe these Cold One Riders are getting into the back lines. And now we're also seeing a lot of the Empire infantry being overwhelmed and the Lizardmen starting to push through those gaps. But Felkon desperately trying to create back lines to retreat to. and keep the pressure up on top of these Lizardmen here with the Outriders. But Cohort of Sotek is pushing through. Swordsmen are routed, tied up by Skink Infantry. Manticore Summon is actually doing a ton of damage to these Cold One Riders and going to successfully rout them. Cohort of Sotek continuing to chase down the Outriders. Tic-Tac-Toe once again going after the Amber Wizard. He's got a Feral Bastillodon here to help support him. Oh, friendly fire from the Solar Engine onto Tic-Tac-Toe. Manticore getting a nice charge off, but then going to get killed off, or time out of it summon. But oh no, Tic-Tac-Toe, what are you doing, man? Get out of here. Get out of here. He is just hanging out in the air, and he's going to die, I think. I don't know if he's going to be able to survive that. 169 HP, and oh man, just by the skin of his teeth, maybe going to make it out of there. Alright. Balance of power has just shifted very significantly in favor of the Empire. Going to be seeing Volkmar the Grim doing his work here to support his infantry in the combat against the Saurus Warriors, but will it be enough? Manticore Summon up in the air, maybe falsely inflating it a little bit. But I mean, overall, Felkon does have Volkmar healthy. He's got a good amount of Outriders left with a good amount of ammunition left. And, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's not like the Amber Wizard's going to be super valuable target for the Lizardmen anyway right now, but they do have that Flock of Doom, so want to get rid of that as quickly as you can. But yeah, looking across the battlefield, let's see what... Both players are just really in tatters. The Empire Infantry, though, is just like kind of MIA at this point. So looks like there's one unit over here. Oh, Feral Manticore on top of the Skink Priest of Heavens, who is terror routing. Outriders trying to chase over there too. Terror kicking in on top of a huge swath of the Lizardmen forces, forcing them to retreat. Oh man, if Tic-Tac-Toe would have been used a bit more cautiously, you know, the Lizardmen may have been in a much stronger position right now, especially because he could be used offensively against Volkmar and stuff. But I mean, right now, Lizardmen looks like they've successfully eliminated magic from the field for the Empire, or are about to shortly. And the Skink Priest of Heavens is still around, so that Wind Blast is going to be an ever-present threat. Empire Knights charging into Skink Skirmishers. Solar Engine getting shot down by the Outriders, and like I said, there's just still a lot of Outriders on the field. Feral Bastillodon back here, trying to chase off that wizard. It actually looks like Felkon... Oh yeah, this was a rule break. I guess he put these over here because he did have 5 spearmen and 4 swordsmen. So that's why they're sitting over there. That explains a good sportsmanship there from Felkon, noticing the rule break and putting him over there on his own. Over here, Solar Engine looks like it's about to go down for the count. Cohort of Sotek, though, have just eliminated some Empire Knights with their armor piercing. And now look at this. Outriders finding themselves on the run again. Some of them running straight into Saurus Warriors. And I don't know. Balance of power really going heavily to the Empire right now, though. And that's just going to be, you know, Volkmar the Grim. He's in a good spot. He's doing okay. Oh no, Grand Soulfire coming down. These guys are screwed. And yeah, that Soulfire. Whew. I mean, Outriders are running low on ammunition. But it's just the terror and the unbreakable lord here. I don't see how this is going to work out for the Lizardmen. They're chasing down Outriders as much as possible, trying to avoid Volkmar, which is really the best thing they can do right now. The last thing they want is to engage him and just continue getting terror routed. But unfortunately, they just don't have enough mobility to really choose their engagements anymore. And there we go. Evenstar going to concede defeat, but a great first game. I really thought the Lizardmen were looking strong there in the beginning, but, you know, as so often happens, this game can go any way. Little things become big things, as Romulan always says, and Volkmar the Grim just really set the pace with these Outriders. I mean, these Outriders all just did really good work for the Empire here. All of them paying for themselves, and Empire Knights kind of getting shut down relatively hard by Cold Ones since they have the armor piercing here, but overall in the end it didn't really matter too much. Tic-tac-toe, I do stand by what I was saying. Like, I think he could have, because I know he's chalked up as a meme lord because you don't see him too often, but he's a good lord. He has his uses, but I do think he was over aggressive there and was lost prematurely without any real net gain from that sacrifice. So would have liked to see more cautious play from him so he could survive more towards the late game and maybe just hunt down Outriders piece by piece. But nonetheless, a wonderful first game. So let's update the scoreboard and see what the next picks and bans are going to be. The map for this one is going to be Wyvern Lake. All right, ladies and gentlemen, starting with our red player who is leading the Greenskins this time, we have VM Evenstar. Let's go ahead and cover this Greenskin infantry first. It looks like we're going to have 2 Orc Biggins. We got some Night Goblins, Orc Boys, more Orc Boys. Oh, goodness gracious. Let's hide the foliage since this is quite a forested map. So how many Orc Boys was that? Oh, goodness gracious. Evenstar, stop moving everybody around. So, what is this? Orc Biggins, 1, 2, 3. We got 2 Orc Boys. We got Night Goblins, 2 of them. We have the 8-peak Loonies, I imagine. Yep, we do. Then we're going to have a lot of mobility, too. So 2 Goblin Wolf Riders, 2 Forest Goblin Spider Riders. We're also going to have 2 Orc Boar Boys and 2 units of Stone Trolls here. Now, for the rest of this army, which will consist of just the leadership, I'm trying to find it. Aha, he's over here. Thank you for the follow, Curie. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that horribly. Now we do have Orc Shaman here. Going to be bringing Headbutt and Brain Burster with the power of Dewa and Grom the Punch. He's going to be bringing the Lucky Banner as well as Language of the Boys. Alright, over here to the Tomb Kings in blue, led by Felkon. We're going to have 3 Skeleton Horse Archers, 2 carrying up in the air supporting them for the infantry. We got Skeleton Warriors, 1, 2, 3, and 4 by the looks of it, with a 5th one in the back supporting a Screaming Claw catapult. Also going to be seeing some Skeleton Chariots here. And then we're going to have 2, alright, so never mind, a Necrotect and a Tomb Prince on top of Chariots. Tomb Prince will have Guardian, Necrotect will have Restore. We're going to have Setcher the Imperishable and a Chimerian War Sphinx here. Setcher will be bringing the Blessed Blade of Tra, Usep's Incantation of Desiccation, Naru's Incantation of Protection, as well as Jaff's Incantation of Cursed Blades. And that appears to round out both of our players' armies. Felkon going with a minimum infantry build and just going to be Focused on eliminating greenskin infantry with chariots, Chimerian War Sphinxes, by the looks of it. Alright, Chimerian War Sphinx running out here. Terror routing the Orc boys very quickly. Screaming Skull Catapult continuing to lob in those shrieking ethereal heads. Really hurting the leadership of the Greenskins especially. And over here it looks like we do see Orc Biggins losing decisively against these Skeleton Chariots. Skeleton Chariots doing a ton of damage to him, and it looks like the Orc Biggins are about to get knocked out here in a second. Forest Goblin Spider Riders coming in to pursue these chariots. Will they be able to close the gap? It looks like gonna get poison on top of them. Yep, there goes the poison now. Forest Goblin Spider Riders rushing in to try to finish them off for good. But man, those chariots already got some great value against the Orc Biggins. Skeleton Warriors getting hit from behind by Goblin Wolf Riders. Brain Burst are going to demolish some of these warriors. These guys are getting crumped out of existence. In comes the Chimerian War Sphinx with the Necrotect and the Tomb Prince. Screaming Skull Catapult firing away. Once again, you see the leadership penalty. It's just so significant as soon as it lands into combat. Orc Biggins in here supporting the Orc Boar Boys, and Grom the Punch means I think the forces of the Tomb Kings don't want to stay in this engagement. It looks like they're trying to get out of it now. And there's just so many Greenskins right now from all directions. Ooh, a headbutt doing a ton of damage there. Very nicely placed. And the Greenskins, a lot of their forces in the backlines shutting down some important Tomb King units. Question, as always, is will the leadership hold as we get into the mid and late game, once the Chimerian War Sphinxes start to be the only things left for the Tomb Kings on the field. Because, I mean, their infantry is disappeared. Their skeleton chariots just disappeared right there, crumbling out of existence. Skeleton Warriors crumbling. These guys are crumbling. Skeleton Horse Archers are now getting hit by Goblin Wolf Riders from the rear. And Stone Trolls still full health. Grom the Punch still full health. Alright, Tomb Kings getting pretty much wrapped up here. Looks like we're going to see Forest Goblin Spider Riders coming in to cut off the Skeleton Horse Archer's avenue of escape. Sorry. And yeah, Tomb Kings are getting dragged down. Their mobility and infantry is pretty much gone completely, and all that's going to be left here towards the end is going to be Cetra, Chimerian War Sphinx, Necrotect, and the Tomb Prince. Stone Trolls here losing a lot of models. 4 models lost, and now they're terror routing, trying to get the hell out of here. Down to 6 models lost now. Greenskins just need to focus on killing everything else from the Tomb King army, and then saving the last little bit for when everybody can regroup together and dive into that. Night Goblins, Orc Biggins. Greenskins have eliminated the rest of the cavalry and infantry. So, yeah, at this point, I think Felkon's really got his work cut out for him. Okay, so both of the trolls did get routed pretty quickly, and look at all of the model damage. These guys are down to 9, these guys are down to 6. So, you know, Stone Trolls want to stay out of combat for a minute, I would imagine. And looking around here, you know, it just doesn't look like there's any Tomb King units left besides the Hero Squad. And even though this is a very anti-infantry focused Hero Squad, I usually have my doubts when it comes down to just this many Tomb King units against this many Greenskin units. As you can see, they're down to 43 models, and that's counting. Out of those 43, 12 of them are carrion. So Tomb King's really running out of resources at this point. Night Goblins coming in, get some poison applied here. With Grom the Punch in combat. Gotta remember he has that language of the boys. Plus 4 leadership, plus 5 melee defense, and immune to psychology, but he needs to be over nearby his allies. Because he doesn't want terror kicking in on these trolls and these other units. Alright, he does have... Wow, look at that. Orc Boar Boys. Forest Goblin Spider Riders coming in, too. Evenstar playing this smart, not committing everything at once. You can see he's just, like, grouping up a lot of units, keeping them rested, and just, like, ready to re-engage when ready. Orc Boar Boys regrouping here with Stone Trolls. Ushopti Summon just came in. Alright, got 5 trolls over here, desperately trying to heal themselves up. Got 6 over here who probably are about healed up max, since they can only go up to half health with half of their models left. The big problem here, I think, is going to be like, you know, they have to kill this Necrotect. He's just healing to this construct up so much. I mean, how many times do they have restore? 2? Okay, so maybe he's already used both of them. Oh no, the Stone Troll's getting charged without a counter charge. Zutron, thank you so much for the $10 cheer, or the 100-bit cheer. Much appreciated. Grom the Punch needs to be over here for these engagements. The terror is too strong. Damn. Balance of power starting to get more even. Felkon flexes these Tomb King monster muscles. Looks like Carrion are now on top of the Stone Trolls, and Felkon's going to try to eliminate them. And the Greenskins are just trying to get themselves together. They've had a very strong start, and they still have a significant edge in the balance of power. Tomb Kings are almost down to... yeah, they're down to 16 units. And so 12 of those, as I mentioned earlier, are Carrion. And then these 4 guys, so there's really not much left in the Tomb King roster. And... gotta remember, these guys don't heal. The only one that can be healed right here is going to be the Chimerian War Sphinx. Brainburster going down on top of the Necrotect. Forest Goblin Spider Riders running around the rears. And the Greenskins really trying to save this troll. Stone Trolls chasing Chimerian War Sphinx from behind. You can see the Tomb Kings now under Felkon. Are they going to split up? Or are they going to continue chasing the trolls? And now, Grom the Punch is coming in here. Come on, Grom, you gotta get in there. Otherwise your immune to psychology is not going to pop. That language of the boys is so powerful. And this is going to probably be the key engagement for the rest of the fight. So... here, seeing these Stone Trolls did rout. They are shattered completely. Forest Goblin Spider Riders are trying to kill these Carrion who are chasing the Stone Trolls. Over here, though, look at this. Seeing the 2 Prince is beginning to waver. He's got critical binding and debilitated. Balance of power going further even, though. 8 Peak Loonies, though, still active and very healthy, actually. Holy hell, the 8-peak Looney is an unbreakable infantry unit. Going to be very clutch and very important at this stage of the battle, but will it be enough? The Tomb Kings are starting to take the balance of power with them, guys. Stone Trolls were routed off the map successfully by the Carrion, and now Terror is going to be a very, even more powerful force than it has been earlier in this battle. Holy hell, are the Tomb Kings going to do this with this devastating hit squad? Over here, Neru's Incantation of Protection going down on top of the Tomb Prince. And the question is, what can the Greenskins do at this point? Grom the Paunch needs to help them out something fierce. You have Orc Boar Boys diving into combat now. In comes the Grom the Paunch, trying to hit that Tomb Prince by the looks of it. Tomb Prince very low on health. 8-peak Loonies are in combat. Keep in mind they're unbreakable, and so they'll be applying poison, helping anchor that Greenskin leadership. Over here, Tomb Prince is crumbling, and it looks like Grom the Paunch is trying to knock him out. There goes the Tomb Prince. Eight-peak Loonies continuing to just act as that bastion of leadership. Grom the Paunch taking a lot of damage. Grom the Paunch doing his best. Sending in Orc Biggins now. Felkon keeping these Carrion up in the air and alive. Such a strategic play. Oh my god. This is ridiculous. Okay, Necrotect. Critical binding. Crumbling. 75, 64, 21, down. Necrotect is down. Once again, is it going to be enough is always the question. Terror kicking in here. Across a ton of the Greenskin units. Balance of power still getting away from them. And you got to remember, units can only rout so many times before they shatter, and it looks like a lot of these Greenskin units are reaching that shattering point. Grom the Paunch running away from Cetra and the Chimerian War Sphinx. I believe he's faster. 68 speed versus 84, so yeah, he's rather pretty much significantly faster. But really, it's the 8-peak Loonies and Grom the Paunch now. That's it. Eight-peak Loonies still fighting it out. This is such a tough one. I mean, I'm really, you know, I'm trying to see if the Greenskins, if there's any way, but I mean, it just Felkon playing this so close to his chest with these last two Chimerian War Sphinx, but an Evenstar getting some beautiful plays there, eliminating the Prince as well as the Necrotect. Over here, he's going after these Carrion because he's sick of them, I'd imagine. Wa has been popped. It looks like Grom the Paunch may be going toe-to-toe with Cetra the Imperishable, who has the Blessed Blade of Tra popped, which is really hurting the Greenskins. I mean, I have to imagine that's a very frustrating game for Evenstar. Not, you know, in any way saying anything about the way Felkon has played this. He's played it beautifully, but it's one of those games where it's like, from the beginning, you've had a big edge, but you're just having such a hard time trying to chew down this hero squad. But look at this, Grom the Paunch actually getting some big hits on top of Cetra the Imperishable. Can he do it? Cetra the Imperishable crumbling. We even have the Orc Shaman coming into fight now. Turn around and get back in there, Grom. Just get back in there. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm not rooting for any one person in particular, but, you know, when I see Grom pulling out of a situation where his leadership is desperately needed, it's not what you want the Greenskins player to be doing because of how easily routable they are. Oh my god, Cetra the Imperishable, are you going to perish? He's at 586 and still crumbling, chat. There goes the Terror route on top of the Orc Shaman, though. Oh, no, just kidding. Just a regular route. No, go after Cetra. He's at critical binding. You have to kill Cetra. If he kills Cetra, maybe he can do this, but he needs to do it. All right. Big hit from Cetra on top of Grom. Grom is looking weak. 17 HP. Oh, and Grom is going to rout before he can kill him off. Oh my goodness gracious. That was such a close game. So Cetra getting close to 3,000, 1,800 on top of this Necrotech, 1,600 on top of the Tomb Prince, 3,300 on top of that Chimerian War Sphinx. And I mean, everything else got really crushed by the greenskins there in like the first opening minutes of the battle. Grom the Paunch getting great value, Orc Shaman getting great value. Got to remember this guy's like 300 gold to bring. The infantry getting shut down pretty hard by skeleton chariot play and stuff, but you know, being able to regroup and come out in the late game. But leadership was the biggest problem here, and you know, the trolls, I think maybe that early engagement they got in where they were losing so many models, maybe needed to be more cautious and only really engage with Grom the Paunch. But overall, I mean, that game, there's nothing bad I can say about it. That was just beautifully played to both of these guys. Yeah, one Goblin Big Boss, boom, they would have been over. I mean, there's just so many variables there that, you know, honestly, like, Evenstar was so close to winning that at so many points. So, great game. All right, well, let's get to it, guys. We did red last time, so we're back to our blue player Felkon to start with, and let's cover the army. So we have miners, 2 miners with blasting charges, and the Ekron miners ROR blasting charges. Other than that, we are going to have 2 Iron Drakes with Troll Armor torpedoes and 1 regular Iron Drake with the flamethrower. We have, are you kidding me? The Pete Gate Guard. Ready to smash something to bits. Pete Gate Guard along with a core of Dwarf Warriors by the looks of it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we have the miners with blasting charges that we already covered. We're also going to have 2 units of Slayers, one of whom will be the Dragonback Slayers ROR. And then for the leader, it looks like we're going to have Grom Brindle, the White Dwarf, sitting here with the Pete Gate Guard and a Runesmith. Runesmith will be bringing Rune of Wrath and Ruin, and then we're going to see Grom Brindle with the Smoke Bomb, which is called Flash Bomb, sorry, along with Grom Brindle Has No Fear. So that rounds out the Dwarf army, and it's time to see what the Norskins have brought for us, chat. So for Norska, does look like we're going to have an ample supply of Marauders. So first up, we have some Marauders with great weapons. It looks like 2 of them. On the Norskin right flank, we have 2 Marauders, the regular variant in the center, and then 2 more great weapon Marauders on the left flank. Now, starting on the left flank and moving to the right, we're going to see Marauder Chariots. Looks like 1, 2, and 3 of them. Up in the air, we have a Manticore. We're also going to see another Manticore further to the right flank. And also very far on the right flank, we are going to see Marauder Horsemen and Marauder Horsemen with throwing axes. On the far left flank, we're going to see that same... Oh, no, not the same combination, just 2 Marauder Horsemen over here. For the leadership, we do have a Shaman Sorcerer of Metal on a chariot. Gehenna's Golden Hounds, Searing Doom, and Metal Shifting will be on top of that. Interesting combinations. We're also going to have Wolfric the Wanderer with Sea Fang and nothing else, and he'll be on top of his big old mammoth. And that's going to round it out. So, should be getting starting soon here. Yeah, so surprised to not see throwing axes on the Norskin skirmishers. Only one of them having it, but I suppose he's going more for as many units as possible. And the throwing axes for the Marauder Horsemen are 100 gold more expensive per. So he did save 300 gold by having 3 regular horsemen and just 1 throwing axe. But Yeah, the lack of armor piercing is concerning, and he also didn't bring Plague of Rust. I kind of assumed on the Metal Sorcerer here he would have Plague of Rust and use that Overcast to try to augment the cheaper Marauder Horseman, but he just has Syrian Doom and Gehenna's Golden Hound, so a very offensive spell loadout. No Rune of Negation, just the Rune of Wrath and Ruin. Yeah, Peak Gate Guard. I want to see your stats, not the Runesmiths. Damn it. 44, 57 magical attacks, armor Sundrain. That's some crazy armor piercing right there, 41. And so it begins. The Dawi pushing forward. We'll see how the Norskins react. Look like the infantry's kind of like walking into a different formation. And I think key here for the Norskins is going to be patience. Very much patience, because they really can't go into this half-cocked. You know, if they attack this army in an unorderly fashion, I think the Dawi are going to rip them to shreds. These Marauders aren't going to stand a chance in prolonged combat against the Dwarfs. I mean, I think the great weapons will be great against like Dwarf Warriors and stuff, but when you have blasting charges flying into them, flamethrowers being shot at them, and the Peak Gate Guard smashing one or two of them, I don't think the Norskins are going to have the infantry advantage for that very long. And now that I'm looking at this from a new light, I'm wondering if maybe the reason for skipping the throwing axes is just to go with the longer range, higher base weapon strength damage of the regular horsemen, specifically to target slayers. Right now, Felkon doing a good job of keeping his slayers kind of in a pocket, so they're screening out any potential skirmishers from getting to him. And funnily enough, both players just seem to be kind of like moving in a clockwise formation, just to redress the lines and facing from a different angle. Over here, quick Syrian Doom going down on some Dwarf Warriors, doing a little touch of damage. I do love me some Syrian Doom. It's a very nice spell. Yeah, no, this is a completely melee, short-ranged dwarf build. No medium range, no long range. You just have Iron Drakes as your skirmishers and nothing else. So I think this is a risky play for sure. I mean, not that the Norskins have long range or anything, but it's going to make it very hard to counter skirmish against these Marauder Horsemen who are just harassing them on the flanks of the field. Chariots look like they're coming in for some charges over here. We even see these chariots hitting the miners with blasting charges quite hard. Slayers are pushing out this way. We'll see if those chariots get out of there in time or not. Oh! Trollhammer torpedoes volleys coming in, doing some big damage. And those chariots are going to get knocked out quickly if they're not careful. Over here, Rune of Wrath and Ruin has been popped on top of Wulfric the Wanderer. He is now charging through as much infantry as quickly as possible. Going to be seeing Marauder Horsemen and a Manticore, which I guess I did mention it. It was there. Diving into the Iron Drakes, trying to protect good old Wulfric for as long as possible. But look at how much damage he has already taken, chat. He's already taken quite a lot of it. And let's see what happens from here. Seafang going off. Oh, going to be a bit of a missed opportunity there. Going to veer off course from the Warriors. But Marauders now coming in. Could be getting a nice rear charge on top of them. Already, look at how much damage has gone down on top of Wulfric, though. Got to keep in mind he still has 6,300 left, so it's not like he's short on health. In the backlines, meantime, we're seeing miners with blasting charges getting routed. Seeing a lot of dwarf warriors lower on health. Over here, see Wolfric the Wanderer smashing more infantry. Pete Gateguard and the dwarf warriors are charging out, though, after him. And there goes the Syrian Doom on top of these dwarf warriors. Manticore stuck in combat is rampaging Grombrindle the White Dwarf. Looks like he is going to be smashing it down here. Gehenna's Golden Hound's going down, doing some good damage here. And the balance of power is definitely creeping in favor of the Norskins right now. So we will see what happens from here. I'm not trusting that balance of power for a second, given how crazy close these battles have been so far. Manticore still rampaging. Still getting shot down by Grombrindle, who has popped. Grombrindle has no fear. Syrian Doom hitting the Pete Gateguard, doing some good damage. Some of the Norskin chariots routing right now. They're down to one model right there. Wolfric the Wanderer running into combat once again. Iron Drakes are looking pretty low on health, looking worse for wear. One of them is already routing far over there. This one is now routing too. And just like that, the Dowie's chances are beginning to look slimmer. Over here, wow, that actually did go through a couple of the Dowie units. Ukran Minders coming back into combat. Wolfric the Wanderer in combat. He has to be careful. Don't stay in combat next to Grombrindle the White Dwarf, although he did just completely destroy that Runesmith. And it's looking like a Norskin victory from here. A very, very convincing victory. Well played to our Norska player here, VM Evenstar, getting up on the board, making this a 1-2 match for himself. All right, so waiting to load in here. It's a very fighty map. All right.
Very 4E indeed.
I knew it. What did the Dark Elves got for us, Romulan? So I'm taking the Beastmen.
The Dark Elves, they're here. They're ready to crump some gits. And let's see, they have a nice little front line of Dread Spears. 3 Dread Spears, one of them being the Hellbroni. As well, there are a total of 2 Sister of Slaughter, one either flank. And we have 2 more Dread Spears for a total of 5. 5 Dread Spears, 2 Sister of Slaughter for the Infantry Core. Cavalry contingent. It's made up of 2 Goblin Knights and 2 Dark Riders with shields. For the skirmish potential, there is a lone Scourge Runner chariot. That's it. So it's all melee all the time. Dark Elf build. Now for the heavy hitters and the leadership, we have 1 War Hydra, just a standard War Hydra. Big beautiful unit, no doubt. No sorceress, a fire, fireball, burning head, kindle flame, the passive, and Lokir Felhart on foot. He is the dreaded duelist and Helm Kraken for that regen, as well as Merciless Slave. Now they're both on foot for the leadership. What has the Beastmen brought in this very fighty matchup?
Well, we're going to see 4 Centaurs with throwing axes. 2 Ungor Raiders make that 4 Ungor Raiders. We're also going to have 5 Ungor Spearmen herd with shields by the looks of it. Going to have some Razor Gore herd, 2 of them, the Butchers of Kalkengard. Then we're going to have a Bray Shaman of Wild, a Bray Shaman of Beast, or Death, Spirit Leech, and Vile Tide on them respectively. And then Morgor the Shadowgave with both of his summons. And I think that rounds out the Beastman forces, unless I missed anything egregiously.
And they're getting right to it. A couple nice big charges and some great early damage done by the Beastmen. And this left flank for the Dark Elf is looking a little more down already, HW.
Yeah, no, that right flank of the Dark Elf seems to be getting crushed pretty hard right now. The Terror from the Butchers of Kalkengard really doing work. See that Sisters of Slaughter and Cold One Knights are diving in to countercharge that, but I can't see that being the best engagement for him. Would you look at Morgor the Shadowgave? Lokir Felheart is on top of him and is not being nice.
My goodness, Lokir showing his melee prowess here. And Morgor needs to get out there. He can reach in all the way back up to full, but may very well get completed here, HW.
Absolutely, and here comes a Burning Head through the Ungor Raiders, doing some great damage, and now going to hit some spears too.
Nice Burning Head there.
Yeah, Fireball coming in after Morgor. Not a direct hit, but still doing some good damage. And I mean, right now, yeah, these players just really get into it.
It looks like the Beastmen have a slight advantage, and now that Morgor has got back to the safety of his Ungor Raiders, he should be able to reach it back up to full. And Lokir is stuck in combat here, but he's doing pretty well to help him.
Yep. Looks like Centaur's great with the throwing axes are diving into some Dark Riders, but getting sandwiched by Cold One Knights too. But I have to agree with you, the balance of power, even though it's getting more even, just the Beastmen have some good momentum right now.
These Centaurs are in a beautiful crossfire here as well. These throwing axes. And look at that, they're all at about full health. So may bode very well for the late game here.
Yep. Good ammunition, good health. Looks like we may have a little bit of a connection issue. Hopefully it just smooths out and nobody drops. Hey, Iron Thunder, go ahead and have them start the semis because I don't know when this is going to be done, so I can't have them wait for me, you know. We're only in round 4 of a best of 9, so don't want to keep up the regular tournament players too late. But thank you so much for doing that. All right, there we go. It looks like it smoothed out, Romulan Dog.
Indeed, but it still looks to be pretty rough for the Dark Elves here, as many of their key units are getting kited now by the Beastmen throwing axes. But oh, looks like a big Burning Head here, HW.
Yeah, another Burning Head doing some good damage. Not exactly on target, but still enough to get them wavering. And now you see Lokir just killing the Bray Shaman of Wild. Ooh, Breath from the Hydra too.
Yeah, maybe the Dark Elves could turn around here with this last Bastion on top of the Helibroni, the War Hydra, fighting with the Dark Elf Pirate Captain, Lokir Felheart. And perhaps they can turn around, but many of the key Beastman units are still in good health with the Butchers and all the throwing axes still. The throwing axes would be such a pain here as the Dark Elf ability is just about completely eliminated from the field.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Look at the Sister of Slaughter. It's only now been brought to the field. Strategic reserves perhaps, or just running units on the left flank there.
Yeah, I did see that. That actually is a very useful unit to get back here in the fight in terms of cleaning up Beastman infantry. But we'll see if they can get back here in time. Lokir Felheart continuing to get targeted by these throwing axes. Nope.
And if the Beastman sees the Sister of Slaughter, he could choose to completely isolate it here. But oh, another Burning Head.
Oh! Gonna hit some of them.
Dodged here.
Yeah. Caught a couple of them, but most of them were able to dodge it. And now they're going after the Sisters of Slaughter, who are going to get a Burning Head.
Oh my goodness. What a twist of fate here.
Yeah. Did not see that coming.
Not favor those sisters.
No, but they definitely don't favor Morgor, and it looks like they're going to try to kill him. Over here, Butchers of Kalkengard taking some serious damage. The War Hydra hasn't been targeted much yet, and the throwing axes, although they still have good ammo, you know, they're below half. And that...
Indeed. At the end of the day, I think the War Hydra will just route, so perhaps leaving it till the end and ignoring it is the play here.
That's a
And
very good point.
And it's very critical the Butchers have 10 models, but as you were mentioning, they're very low on health here.
Yeah, the 10 models is the important part since they can regenerate so much. But I mean, there's a lot of regeneration going on across the field right now. You have Lokir Felheart, Morgor, the Butchers of Kalkengard, the Hydra. So, we'll see what happens.
And Lords regenerating on both sides. I feel like you really need the War Hydra to go after the Butchers here if you're the Dark Elf player, but alas, it looks like it's just eating access to the face right now.
Yeah.
Isolated.
To me, it looks very much that Hydra, needs to be somewhere else right now, but I think it's going to be too late for the Dark Elves to do anything about it as the Butchers of Kalkengard come in here from the rear and hit that War Hydra. And, yeah, Balance of Power looks like it's about to get out of hand.
Yeah, that was certainly a linchpin unit for the Dark Elves, the War Hydra. As well, Lokir Felheart now finds himself outmatched by the leadership of the Beastmen. He's low on health, and yeah. Indeed, this would be a Beastman victory. Felkon should find himself in a strong position here, up 3-1.
Indeed, indeed. 2 more games, and he can seal the deal. But we'll see what Evenstar does next round. We are currently going into round 5. Can you believe it?
Yeah, it's quite a matchup, too. It's really a fun matchup. These are 2 factions you don't see too often anymore. And, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Lokir Felheart, too. Just like, he's so good at eliminating Beastman leadership, so Felkon obviously doing a good job shuffling them in and out of... between other Beastman units to kind of prevent him from chasing him down, because that was frighteningly quick how much damage he did to Morgor the Shadow Gave there.
Absolutely, just a few more hits and he may have felled the foul Nurgle Goat Beast. And that may have very well sealed the victory for the Dark Elves, but yeah. Just Morgor kind of shuffling away was pretty critical. Mm-hmm. It's surprising. I like Lokir's model as well. He has a proper set of blades. As well
that he does.
Just the glorious mask. And yeah, he almost won it for the Dark Elf there.
Yep. That was a great game across the board. I'm excited to see the next round. And I'm not playing favorites here, but I always like to see a close matchup, so maybe Evenstar fight his way back into this to get up another point on the board, but we'll see. Scourge-Runner Chariots did pretty good for themselves.
Oh, it was Greenskin Dowie, a classic matchup.
Holy shit, this is a hard matchup for the dwarfs, isn't it?
Yeah, I think there's some cheeky matchups, or cheeky things they can pull, certainly. I'm not sure it's too difficult, but I'd certainly give it to the Greenskins as of late. Without a doubt, it is Greenskin favored, I would say. I wouldn't say it's too difficult, though. That's the only thing. But difficult, perhaps.
Next
it's a little bit arbitrary, but see what sort of builds Felkon employs here. There's a lot of ways the Greenskins can put dwarves on the back foot and really take initiative here.
Indeed. Well, which ones would you like to cover? I love the Greenskins, but I like the Dowie now too.
I'll go with the dwarfs. I was hoping for the one certain unit, but anyway, still. We will start with the Infantry Core. Well, let's be real, that is the entirety of the Warhammer build. It consists of 4 miners with blasting charges, as well as 4 dwarf warriors up front to lead the way. Now we have a single Longbeard to bolster the leadership of the front line, and we have 2 Slayers to shore up the back line, one of them of course being the near obligatory Dragonback Slayers. And for artillery, we do have a single Goblobber to hurl gobos and a bit of insult the Greenskins' way. Now, for the skirmish potential, the real skirmish potential, we have the Royal Dwarven Air Force in the form of 4 gyrocopters with brimstone guns. Absolutely glorious. The Thwappa Thwappa. They are the win condition and the key damage dealers for dwarves. And for leadership, it's Thorgrim, Grudgebearer. He has both the Vengeance and Great Book of Grudges, as well as the High King. He does have the High King bonus once he drops below 50% base, and that rounds out the Dwarven build. What have the Greenskins brought to deal with this Dwarven threat, my son?
An excellent question, Romulan. Let me get to it right about now. And we're going to start with the infantry, even though I was very tempted to start with the skirmishers because I'm inconsistent. But first, the 8-peak loonies. Vanguarded, unbreakable, almost a must-bring. 1, 2, 3 units of gobos. We're then going to have 2 gobbo, make that 3 goblin rock lobbers. And something tells me the grudge bearers will have a good time routing them repeatedly. Other than this, we are going to see skirmishers, goblin wolf rider archers. Looks like we're going to have 4 of them, one of which will be the ROR Maugres Mangy Marauders. We're then going to have actually a 5th goblin wolf rider archer and then a single forest goblin spider rider archer. Got the Durkit Squigs up here too to support them in melee combat, provide that poison, and they do have immune to psychology. For the rest of this army, which is consisting of just a motley assortment of units, we have some Snotling pump wagons and 2 black orcs. We're also going to be seeing an Orc Shaman and a River Troll Hag. Orc Shaman's going to have Brainburster, River Troll Hag's going to have Spirit Leech. And then, last but never least, we have the general of this army, and it will be Grom the Paunch with the Lucky Banner.
Gyrocopters opening up, trying to get some early damage done on the Durkit Squigs. They've killed 1 model, but it looks like they will be pushed back by the Skirmish Cab without doing any more damage.
I do think that, just that single grudge thrower, though, with that huge leadership debuff it does, which I can never remember the exact stats, I think is really, as long as Evenstar uses it well, that will give him a very distinct advantage here. Because what is the leadership penalty on the grudge thrower? Minus 16. Yeah,
oh,
so it's minus 16. And I don't think that includes the artillery penalty.
Yeah.
So, Greenskin's a low leadership faction, this close to the white line on some edges, getting hit by those things. Risky.
I'd have to double check, but I think, yeah, with the artillery leadership penalty, it will total 26. Negative 26 leadership per shot. And you can see the damage it's doing to these.
Yeah, look at this. Leadership, discouraged ability, damage sustained, and damage by artillery. So it's 22. 10 plus... No, 26. Yeah. 10 plus 16. So the leadership on those guys is truly, it's such a force multiplier for the gyrocopters. So very impressed by that pick.
And they are danger close to the white line here. Although, fortunate one of them did rally, but again, another one is routing off.
And that's the ROR. The gyrocopters just need to go chase them, Oh, and
yeah, I think you're absolutely right.
Grudge though are getting more shots in, and oh my god. The skirmishing phase going squarely in favor of the Dowie, I would say, at this point. They've taken some damage, but haven't lost models yet.
Indeed. I think the skirmish cab may need to just pull back, but they're essentially the only tool the Greenskin has to deal with the gyrocopter. He knows that. He's trying to just hold the gyrocopters at bay while his rock lobbers can eliminate the goblobber from the game. Then maybe he can advance without taking too much damage, but he's pushed off his first loons as well. They didn't do too much damage, and he's losing pretty hard in the skirmish phase right now, and looks like there's not a single model lost from the gyro core.
They're still doing okay. I mean, here comes a Spirit Leech. There's going to be the first model losses for sure. I mean, that's, to me, their ace in the hole is they can Spirit Leech them to death, but it also means you're not Spirit Leeching other units. And even more importantly is that if they lose all these skirmishers, Do you know how quickly gyrocopters with brimstone guns and their fire damage can take down a river troll hag? Maybe we'll find out.
I'm sure the greenskins don't want to find out, and last, they very well may, unless they can eliminate these weak gyros.
Yeah.
As you mentioned with the Spirit Leech, I think that is the optimal target to just whittle down these gyros with that said Spirit Leech. And if he can eliminate just 2 of the gyros, I mean, that'll obviously be a massive gain or a massive win in the skirmish phase, and maybe he can get a few decent engagements during the infantry phase, engagement phase.
Oh, it does look like Felkon's going to have an opportunity to eliminate a couple of gyrocopters here, though. Magrum's Mangy Marauders and these Wolf Rider Archers. You know, they have the speed to stay close to him at least, and they're starting to do some serious damage, and this health is so low.
You know, I don't really like these gyros splitting up as well. They're just allowing the missile cab to get decent matchups on the gyros, 2-on-1s. As this one gyro has been chasing a Forest Goblin Spider Rider for just the last few minutes off the map. It took a very unfortunate angle, this really strange,
Yeah, it took a long time to get him off there, and it looks like the gyrocopters have started suffering their first casualties, 2 of them down to 2 models. At the end, though, I mean, I think getting the poison, the Forest Goblin Spider Rider off the map may have been worth it, but the big problem here is, like, those gyrocopters, like you say, needed to stay together, and I think they needed to make a concerted effort to shut down the goblobbers. Because I think they potentially could have done it earlier on and then continued to force the greenskins to them, but I think the dwarves having to go out and fight in the open right now may be working against them, although I do commend Evenstar for pushing out when his artillery started to rout.
We'll see if he can get some decent blasting charges to kind of slow this greenskin push. But yeah, that's why I was really harping on him splitting up the gyros.
Yeah.
He could have just stayed together, eliminated the only 2 remaining skirm cav, and then he could have just worked down the line with the artillery. But once he split up, it just allowed units to regroup and gang up on him. And he got some bad engagements from there on, and now it looks like Black Orcs are in position and just chopping the dwarves to bits.
Yep. Dirk Squigs did just get routed, though, by the Slayers. They did shatter the Goblobber. However, I think losing the Dirk Squigs to kill what was left of the Goblobber was probably a bad trade for Felkon. They were low on ammo anyways. And now we do see that Magrum's Mangy Marauders and the rest of the skirmish cav are out of ammunition, so Spirit Leech the only threat to the gyrocopters moving forward. But will it matter? Because I just don't... How do you stop the Black Orcs? Some good blasting charges may help, but I feel like Black Orcs at this stage.
There's absolutely no quality in this Infantry Core or any AP damage. Aside from range units. So now it just looks like the indeed will be just another trophy.
I mean,
chopping us with the Black Orcs.
The Black Orcs are starting to take some serious damage, though. The blasting charges are being nicely aligned by Evenstar, and he's whittling them down. And you have the Longbeards in here to help shore up the leadership. There goes a Brain Burster, though, going to do some nice damage.
Yeah, these miners could surround that Black Orc, and there it goes. You're
there
right,
it goes.
It is breaking.
That is one Black Orc down.
It looks like bombs coming down on the right flank. No, I lied.
And over here, look at this. Greenskin's doing a good job chasing down these Dwarf Warriors, trying to get them off the map. Balance of power definitely against the Dwarfs right now.
Yes, it certainly is not over, but it still seems like a better spot for the Greenskins with mobility here and the ammo from the Brimstones waning.
Yeah.
From the Punch, Troll Hag,
full health,
still with decent health.
We got one Black Orc in very bad condition, but, you know, they're still just like... I guess, oh, look at them. They're focusing on the River Troll Hag. If they can get her to rout, then I think they can keep her routing. But
yeah, it's definitely a good move, trying to eliminate some of the Greenskin leadership here, and maybe they can make a last stand with the High King, Thorgrim Grudgebearer.
Thorgrim is a beast.
Greenskin aggression. He absolutely is a beast, and maybe the only way for the Dwarves to win this battle at this point, with these few gyros and this little ammo. He does have a few Slayers, though.
Yeah, got some miners running in here. Yeah, those Slayers still about quarter health, so that's good. 44 models.
But with Grom the Paunch's regen, he'll just cycle charge those poor Slayers and give them a, perhaps a righteous Slayer's death, but Slayer's death nonetheless.
Yeah, death being the operative word. Where are those Longbeards? Are they still here next to him? No, those are Slayers. Looks like everything's gotten routed at this point. I mean, it would be dope to see Thorgrim just toe-to-toe with Grom the Paunch. Looks like we're going to get it.
Here we go. I found the Longbeards, by the way. They are routing. Now Thorgrim tries to make a last stand. His people. Bring the odds down. I like this is the Greenskin Chariot versus the Dwarf Chariot.
I do too, man. I think Thorgrim would win that any day against Grommy boy, but maybe I'm mistaken.
Come on, let them sit in combat. We need this duel. Give them
seriously. There it is.
They're going for it. Yes. The gut versus the book.
The gut versus the grudge.
Yeah. Ooh, I like that.
There you go.
New DLC.
Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, looks like the dwarves, in spite of a very noble effort, are going to lose this one. I mean, I couldn't agree with you more. I think you hit the nail on the head, Romulan. Those guys splitting up was a really painful decision, bad decision, and I think if they would have decisively beat and just focused on the skirmishers and then worked their way down the line, like you were saying, could have been a different story. But now Thorgrim is going to be murdering that river troll hag.
My goodness.
I gotta change my mind, Thorgrim. Leave me alone.
And the sack of fish waddles off. But yeah, it just seemed very odd since the dwarf was doing very well at the skirmish fight. Evenstar, he was gaining a pretty distinct advantage there. And then he, I don't know, I might even call it a big greedy, but it just, maybe just lack of, or loss of patience.
Yeah.
But he sent all the gyros across the map to chase off units and try and fight on multiple fronts. When yes, indeed, yeah, just, he was gaining ground and he could have just rolled that skirmish phase advantage, eliminated the artillery.
Yeah.
And been in a pretty good spot.
Well, and I think more than most factions, if not all factions, Dowie are one of those factions that isn't good split up, except in very rare circumstances. So I agree. It's their strength is consolidation, leadership, staying strong, and just wearing down their opponent. When they get split up and isolated, that's, you know, the Dowie don't have the mobility to regroup effectively, and the Greenskins can just prime apart like they're doing right now.
Absolutely. You know, the gyros, though they are mobile, they hold true to that very much. You want them to stay together with numbers, be able to take out key targets, not get ganged up on by cheaper skirmish cav. And as well, one thing about this dwarf build, may have really helped them in that skirmish phase decisively, or really maybe even more decisively. Just one foot skirmish, ranger, warlord, some kind of mid-range foot skirmisher to kind of shoot up their artillery position, and then yeah, just punch back with higher numbers against ranged skirmisher.
Yeah.
Oh, a mounted skirmisher with lower numbers and just greater mobility. So anyway, quite a match there. They really scrapped it out.
Yeah, they did.
But Felkon seems to be working his way closer and closer to the championship. Now it seems Evenstar will have to win quite a few matches in a row.
Yeah, have to win 4 in a row in order to bring this back. Because
it all starts with one.
It all starts with one. And here's the thing, guys. I've seen that way more times than I remember. Like, definitely seen 0 to 3 comebacks or something like that. I guess 0 to 2. Oh yeah, 0 to 3 comebacks and other matches. So who knows what's going to happen from here. Also, I imagine this is the point where we're going to see both of the players' main factions here on out. Nothing to lose. Well, as we load into this, what you thinking, man? Empire or Huntsmarshal's Expedition, or the Wargrove of Draika?
I think Warzag sub-faction was my favorite greenskin sub-faction prior.
Yes.
And with that being said, I'll go with this Huntsmarshal's Expedition. Go with the brave Empire troops crusading forth into the new world. Okay, now starting with the Infantry Core. We have a nice mixed batch here. We have 2 spearmen, 2 swordsmen, and 2 flagellants. Now for the skirmish potential, we just have 2 pistoliers and 2 mortars. There might be a theme here. All 2s. And now for the cavalry corps, or the cavalry contingent, excuse me. We have, looks to be another mixed batch. Interesting. We have 2 Empire Knights, 2 Reichsguard, and a single Knight of the Blazing Sun. Unless there is another Knight of the Blazing Sun that I missed. No.
I think you did.
Now for the leadership, we have Bright Wizard. He's on foot. He has Cascading Fire Cloak, Flaming Sword of Ruin, Burning Head, as well as the Power Stone and Blast. And of course, Kindle Flame, the passive. Now Lord is an Arch-Lector. Interesting. I did mention this is perhaps the only good generic Lord on the Huntsmarshal's Expeditions roster. And he is indeed fielded there. He's on a horse. He has all the standard buffs, Grand Soulfire, Grand Hammer, and the Mace of Hellstrom. Interesting enough. Now, what has the Wood Elf brought to deal with this?
It's the Huntsmarshal's Expedition that is ketchup and mustard. I lied. Anyways, 2 the Wood Elves here, being led by Felkon. We're going to see Arrow Kernos immediately going off from the 2 Waystalkers. First one was a bit of a whiff. Second one is going to get a good hit and destroy a mortar artillery model. Now, we're going to be seeing Wild Riders to please Romulan, and we also have 3 of them.
Wild Riders!
Wild Riders! Crikey! Going to have Sisters of Thorn. We got 2 Way Watchers accompanying those 2 Way Stalkers. And then we're going to have Eternal Guard with Shields. It's going to be a total of 5. Now, for the remainder of this Wood Elf army, we are going to see Draika coming into battle, waddling through the forest. I guess I can call that a walk. She has her Dryad Summon, Rouse to Wrath, and Penumbral Pendulum with nothing else. She just has murder in her heart. She's just going out here to...
And speaking of murder, these Waystalkers are absolutely murdering the Bright Wizard right now. The Bright Wizard's just shambling, trying to find some safe ground, but it's just eating shot after shot.
Oh no!
And there you go, it's routing. We're even got to cast a spell. And as well, these mortars may be not long for this world either.
Yeah, and look at this Spearman getting smashed by some Wild Riders. They're barely starting to regain their leadership, but Draika's coming in now, and she's never something that's going to boost your spirits. I mean, really, the heavy cavalry is what the Empire need to make work at this point. I think their big mistake is they didn't anticipate the Way Watchers coming in there, or the Waystalkers, and they needed to screen them out so much further with their infantry and their heavy cav.
Absolutely, and now their cav on the right flank seem to be caught in some awkward engagements. They were baited out, they didn't get the charge. Now they're getting bogged down by Wild Riders and Spears. One of them is quickly just evaporating, just melting completely. The other one seems to be bogged down, and it looks like all the Wild Wood Elf is pretty well in the front line, and there's a big Pendulum HW.
Yep.
Is this going to be a quick victory for the Wood Elves, and will Felkon win the championship of Season 7 right here?
I mean, unless the things start changing quickly, I think he may be. Right now, Empire has lost, you know, what appears to be one Empire Knight at the very least. I know they're wheeling around here in the flank, and this is going to be, to me, what's the decisive engagement is, can he use these Empire Knights and the Flagellants who are now wheeling around? Because the Empire on the left flank, the Wood Elf right, has actually done an okay job. But the front line is crumbling, and the Empire right flank is crumbling to the assault from the Wood Elf left, and I just don't think the Empire can pull things around quickly enough to change the outcome.
Yeah, Soulfire goes down, but it's a bit of a swing and a miss there. It really could have been used to eliminate some of these Wild Riders. And it looks like the Empire may lose its leadership here, and that's going to be a massive loss, considering they've already lost their cast early on in this battle.
Indeed it did, and yeah, leadership pinned in place. You do have Empire Knight or Reiksguard in here trying to help out, but I think Waystalkers are going to be firing in here too. And yeah, there goes a big route. Reiksguard routing too. Empire forces are yeah, it's looking rough.
Yeah, just that big early loss. Fire Wizard lost. He was going to have a real tough time getting out of range from these Waystalkers, since they are 7 ticks, faster than him. 42 speed versus 35 respectively, so they could just stay on him. And that's dangerous sometimes. Bring a caster on a horse as well. It saves quite a bit of funds, but you can't dodge quite as well. And just some really good left flank engagement with those Wild Riders. Just a very keen bait and switch as Felkon pulled back with Wild Riders on the initial charge to pull the Empire Knights into spears. And that initial play may have given him the ground in the cavalry fight to eventually win the game and the series. And pretty interesting Rush army here. Just 2 Way Watchers and then the Way Stalkers for skirmish, but besides that, it's pretty much all melee. And Drake just proving to be... I mean, she only got 400 value HW, but I think you would agree she did a tremendous job just kind of tying down key units and getting in there, supporting the fight.
Yeah. No, I mean, that was just rough from the beginning, start to finish there. The Waystalker shutting down an artillery model quickly. Them sniping down the Bright Wizard within like the first 2 minutes of the battle. Just a lot of things that Evenstar had to recover from there, kind of starting out on his heels in the early engagements, and I think that pressure led to some, impatient decisions, some rush decisions on the right flank with this cavalry, and because I don't dislike this Empire army by any means. I think it has what it needs to win this fight if you can somehow zone out the Waystalkers more effectively. I think the mortars are kind of screwed no matter how you slice it. But there was definitely, tools in this Empire army that I think could have worked out in the end. Maybe, in my opinion, just go 4 Empire Knights and a Knight of the Blazing Sun, then get more infantry. I think that could have helped here a lot more too, is just having more infantry, because at the end of the day, infantry-wise, the Empire didn't really have an advantage here. Like, they outnumbered them slightly, but was 5 against 6, and usually when you're going against the elf factions of any variety with the Empire, numbers, you usually want to be on your side because quality is usually on the elf side. But I don't know, maybe I'm making too much of that. But I want to think both of these players were playing like big time, because I was very worried this wouldn't happen. So I want to thank both of them for showing up and being very good sports.